Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about the dreaded P0420 fault code. This code indicates that your catalytic converter is not performing as efficiently as it should be. Now, I know what you're thinking, catalytic converters are expensive. And you're right, they can be. But before you start panicking and emptying your bank account, let's take a closer look at what his code means and what you can do about it. In this video, we'll break down the P0420 code and explain what it means for your car. We'll also discuss some of the common causes of this code and how you can diagnose the problem. And finally, we'll talk about some of the potential solutions, including both DIY fixes and professional repairs. So, if you're seeing the P0420 code on your dashboard, don't despair. Watch this video and learn everything you need to know about this common problem. A catalytic converter is an emissions control device that reduces harmful pollutants in a car's exhaust. It works by using a catalyst to convert carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, and nitrogen oxides into less harmful gases like carbon dioxide and water vapor. The P0420 code is a diagnostic trouble code, DTC, that indicates a problem with the catalytic converter's efficiency. This code means that the catalytic converter is not working as well as it should be, and it is not reducing emissions as effectively as it should. There are several possible causes of the P0420 code, including a faulty catalytic converter, an oxygen sensor that is not working properly, an exhaust leak, a problem with the engine's air-fuel mixture. The most common symptom of the P0420 code is a check engine light. Other symptoms may include reduced fuel economy, poor engine performance, a strong smell of exhaust. To diagnose the P0420 code, a mechanic will need to use a scan tool to retrieve the code from the car's computer. They will also need to inspect the catalytic converter and the oxygen sensors to look for any signs of damage or wear. If the mechanic suspects an exhaust leak, they will need to use a smoke machine to find the leak. Once the mechanic has diagnosed the problem, they will need to repair or replace the faulty component. In some cases, the catalytic converter may need to be replaced. The P0420 code is a relatively common code, and it can be caused by a variety of factors. If you see this code on your car's dashboard, it is important to take it to a mechanic to have it diagnosed and repaired. This information is for educational purposes only and should not be used as a substitute for professional advice. If you have any questions about the P0420 code, please consult a qualified mechanic. The P0420 fault code indicates that the catalytic converter is not functioning properly. This can be caused by a number of factors, including a bad catalytic converter, an oxygen sensor that is not working correctly, or an exhaust leak. If you are experiencing the P0420 fault code, there are a few things you can do to try to repair it. First, check for any exhaust leaks. If you find an exhaust leak, repair it and see if the code goes away. If the code does not go away, you may need to replace the oxygen sensor or the catalytic converter. The P0420 fault code is a common problem for many vehicles. It is important to note that this code does not necessarily mean that your catalytic converter is bad. There are a number of other factors that can cause this code to be triggered. If you are experiencing the P0420 fault code, it is important to have it diagnosed by a qualified mechanic. They will be able to determine the cause of the code and recommend the appropriate repairs. The P0420 code can be cleared by using a code reader or scanner. However, it is important to note that simply clearing the code will not fix the underlying problem. The code will likely return if the problem is not addressed. Yes, a bad oxygen sensor can cause the P0420 code to be triggered. The oxygen sensor is responsible for monitoring the amount of oxygen in the exhaust gases. If the oxygen sensor is not working properly, it can send false readings to the engine control unit, ECU, which can cause the ECU to set the P0420 code. The P0420 code on a Nissan is the same as the P0420 code on any other vehicle. It indicates that the catalytic converter is not functioning properly. There are a few ways to test an oxygen sensor for a P0420 code. One way is to use a code reader or scanner to check the oxygen sensor readings. Another way is to use a multimeter to measure the voltage output of the oxygen ignition sensor. If you are experiencing the P0420 fault code, it is important to have it diagnosed by a qualified mechanic. They will be able to determine the cause of the code and recommend the appropriate repairs.